Here we are, it is already July of 2025, and the Meghan Markle drama is continuing over at Netflix HQ between herself, CEOs Greg Peters and Ted Sarandos, and all the executives and producers in between. It's really an ongoing exact issue going on with Netflix because they already know that they're in a very difficult and delicate position right now for obvious reasons. We already know that Meghan Markle is trying to really keep it together. She's trying to keep things organized for With Love Meghan Season 2, and so far, that is all working to no avail after the latest test screening. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Meghan Markle is that we already know that she is losing roles left and right. She is losing every single opportunity to remain in the spotlight, to remain in Hollywood, the film industry, whatever have you. She's really trying to desperately cling to becoming or as seen as quote-unquote relevant as far as she sees it, right? Now, what's interesting here has a lot more to do with the whole drama going on over at Netflix after the latest failed test screening. This is like the upteenth test screening that they actually did for With Love Meghan Season 2, around number 6 to be exact. And when you're looking at all of the screenings together, a lot of these are being redone because a lot of re-edits were applied to episodes 1 through 8 to see how screeners actually see the show. But let's get into this because this is where it really gets very serious and also quite interesting when it comes to Meghan Markle's erratic behavior and how she actually treated a live audience. Now, one thing is for certain is that with Meghan Markle getting in constant trouble, not just with Netflix, but also with other studios in Hollywood, already major setbacks are taking place for With Love Meghan Season 2 after yet another disastrous test screening that created chaos with Netflix. Now, it turns out that Ted Sarandos once again allowed Meghan Markle to join and observe the latest test screening for episodes 1 through 3 this time of Season 2, and as usual, screeners reacted in a very shocking way that Netflix didn't see coming. The screeners that were handpicked by Netflix were best described as, get this, to be those that held no bias against Meghan Markle, and they labeled episodes 1 through 3 as the worst creation and experience that they have seen yet by Netflix across the board, with lackluster acting, directing, producing, and even line delivery. However, things got worse after Meghan Markle was on stage in front of a live audience and decided to take questions about the series after the screening took place for feedback purposes. Things erupted where Meghan was actually receiving confrontational questions about the lackluster creative skills for the show, and this is where Meghan had reportedly raised her voice toward the live audience and called them hecklers and manipulators, trying to put words in her mouth. These claims by Meghan Markle surprisingly caused walkouts by screeners, where Netflix was left in a very embarrassing situation. Now, this all actually led back to Ted Sarandos, and falls back on him, where he allowed Meghan to take part in the screening just last week, and to take questions from the screeners. It turns out that the screeners had the courage to expose Meghan Markle live on stage by calling her out on how phony the show appears to be and how it copies others' work. Now, once those claims were made available from the screeners' voices to Meghan, she also labeled the audience as those trying to create a viral moment, and even went as far to call them as traitors. It got to a point where once, of course, again, a Netflix producer had to take Meghan Markle by the hand gently and pull her off stage behind the curtains. The board of directors are in serious talks of a permanent ban for Meghan Markle joining the next test screening, where there is a question and answer phase at the end of the screening as well. Netflix is also considering ditching that idea altogether for the next screening, which is set to happen in a short number of days from now, and they want to prevent Meghan from going on stage again as much as possible. Now, again, guys, we talked about this like 3 months ago when she had a moment like this where she acted very erratic, very confrontational, very defensive, name-calling the audience, just like she did here in the most recent one, calling them traitors, hecklers, and those trying to put words in her mouth or trying to create a viral moment. All of these nonsense claims, when in reality, people were just speaking their mind. They were just speaking the truth. They weren't really Meghan Markle critics. A lot of these screeners were handpicked by Netflix, those that didn't even know anything about the actual construct of the show itself, exactly what the story was. Yes, they knew about Meghan Markle, yes, they knew about who she was per se, but they didn't have a bias against her, if that makes sense. So, interestingly enough, We already know that Netflix is losing subscribers, not just related to Meghan Markle's show, but also we gotta actually focus on the reality of the situation. They are raising rates, raising prices, and at the same exact time, they're taking a lot of beloved content off the platform. Whether it's movies or television shows or documentaries, whatever it may be, they're taking a lot of that material off, and it's either going nowhere or it's heading to another streaming platform out there like Hulu, for example. Now, this is where it gets even more interesting, is that things also got out of control, where Meghan blamed Netflix for putting her in a confrontational position, and also blamed Netflix for putting her on the spot to be embarrassed by an audience of around 100 people. As of now, even Meghan is considering skipping the next screening, which will focus on episodes 4 through 6. These new screenings are set to begin and will be done after extensive re-edits were done, of course, to the show to help improve the flow of the story and the way the series actually progresses. And so far, it has been nothing more than a disaster. And look, we all know that Season 2, aka Part 2, it's going to be a bigger ratings disaster than the first part, because there's going to be a lot of lessons shoehorned into this actual season. Meghan Markle confirmed this, that she's going to actually have a lot of lessons about parenthood, fatherhood, motherhood, whatever have you. And there's also going to be a whole lesson about diversity, equity, and inclusion while she cooks in some episodes. It's also going to get somewhat political. You know, it's still on, alright? The plan is still a go to have Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris join for episodes 4 and 6. Once, of course, reshoots near the final phase, they will actually be inserted with their short cameo roles. Now, again, I think that at the end of the day, when you look at Netflix, they're beginning to become a little bit worse than Disney in certain ways, in certain aspects, right? Because they're really just doubling down on all of this nonsense, at least Ted Sarandos is. In light of all the issues that he actually has with Meghan Markle, he still doubles down on including her in these actual test screening events, and also these Q&As that take place after the screening. You would think that if you're concerned about Meghan Markle, especially after all the acts of plagiarism that's been going on behind the scenes for With Love Meghan Season 2, you would actually decide to actually kick her off stage or just ban her outright, prevent any of these issues happening at all, and preventing any negative word of mouth, right, behind closed doors. So again, we know that Netflix doesn't seem to learn from their mistakes, but at the same exact time, they're beginning to try to really wonder to themselves right now, was it even a good idea to actually have Meghan Markle join their program, their platform right from the get-go? They're beginning to question that right now, and they're holding some level of regrets because of how she's acting very erratic and really defensive and angry toward a live audience. So again, I think that when you look at With Love Meghan Season 2, it's going to be a botched season because of how many setbacks they have, how many re-edits are being done. There's going to be no script practically for the reshoots. It's all improvised material. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about all of this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.